This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.
Welcome to the Easthampton City Council meeting for Wednesday, February 7th. The meeting tonight is being recorded and broadcast by e-media on Shutter Channel 193 and live streaming on their webpage, easthamptonmedia.org. Councilors are participating in this meeting are gathering hybrid on the order extended until March 2025, which allow us to do so. I remind both the member of the City Council and the public participating remote remain mute until recognized by the City Council President. Also for the members of the public, please remove your camera for the duration of the meeting unless you are participating in public speak time or public hearing. Thank you. This meeting is now called to order. Marianne.
Connie Denham.
Here.
Salem Derby.
Present.
Omar Gomez.
Here.
J.P. Kwasinski.
Here.
Tom Peak.
Here.
Brad Riley.
Here.
Tamara Smith.
Here.
J.T. Terrell.
Here.
Owen Zaret.
Present.
Please stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all. And this work too.
I will take a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
J.P. Kwasinski.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
J.T. Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Motion passes. Public speak time. This is the opportunity for the public to address regarding any topic to the City Council that is not related to the public hearing. If you're here to talk about a resolution that is not part of the public hearing or something else, this is the time to address or bring your concern to the council. Please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening, folks. My name is Norman Taft. I'm a professional arborist. I'm a former employee of National Grid, where I oversaw line clearing operations for most of the Western District that was overseen by Mass Electric and National Grid. I live on Loudville Road. I've been watching the upgrade of electrical service on Loudville Road, and I have been watching the vast numbers of public shade trees that have been marked, as well as trees on private property. I think it's excessive, and it far exceeds industry standards. In my job as a senior arborist for National Grid, I had a large coverage area. I oversaw line clearing operations. I made recommendations on line construction and on line clearing. And companies like Northern Tree or Lewis and Asplin worked for me. I had near complete autonomy administratively and operations-wise. What I'm seeing up on what I'm seeing up on Loudville Road is excessive and far beyond industry standards. 3 weeks ago, when I noticed all the trees that were marked, I called John Mason. I found out that Sarah, the former tree warden, had resigned. I don't know what the circumstances were, but I was told by John Mason that the director of Public Works now has that responsibility. So I contacted the director, and I asked him, I said, are you going to have a public shade tree hearing on these trees? And he said, well, people don't like trees here in Easthampton. And that kind of blew me out of the water. And furthermore, started to ask a little bit more, and he says, well, Eversource does a lot of freebies for us, and therefore, my sense was things kind of get overlooked, and maybe fast-tracked, meaning they don't go through the normal channels. But in fairness to the director, he's new, he doesn't understand tree laws, and he's a work in progress. But I pressed him hard on pushing for a shade tree hearing. And what you have tonight, paper in front of you, is my objection to 8 out of the 10 trees being removed. My concern is that I think people do care about trees. And I think there needs to be transparency. And I don't think City Hall should be rubber stamping, letting Eversource do whatever they want. And I will be a tick on a dog, in a manner of speaking, and I will ride them hard. But if you want to see, that one of the things that happens is, if they see a tree they don't like, I'm not talking about dead, dying, and structurally weak trees, but I'm talking about healthy trees that may be too close to their pole. Case in point, okay, I'll finish. Case in point, take a look at pole 17 to 19 South Street, where an oak tree is partially topped and down. My sense is that we need to get Easthampton in line with doing things the right way, being transparent, going through public shade tree hearings where healthy trees are being requested to be removed.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hello, I'm Lindsay Rothschild from 73 Mount Tom Avenue. I was just coming to speak in support of the Easthampton ceasefire resolution that I saw in the packet. I was really pleased to see it. I'm really like the first draft. I like how it's written kind of straight and to the point, and I feel, as we all know, this climate, with over 1 million people displaced, with almost 30,000 people dead in Gaza, with hostages, Israeli hostages still being held, that to be silent is also saying something. So I'm happy to see that this is coming forward, and I ask you, please do not be silent on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else remote that want to participate in the public speak time? I see none. Communication from elected officials, boards, and committee. Any councilor have anything for tonight? See none. Mayor's communication. The mayor. Usually she's there. That's what I was looking for.
I switched it up.
Oh, yeah.
I was late. Thank you for the time, Mr. President, and as well as granting time on the agenda tonight to ask for immediate action on for authority for me to settle a land dispute over adverse possession. The short of it is there's a piece of property that was taken care of and by a party for more than 7 years, actually for 20 years, at Old County Way, and they came to the city in the form of a legal appeal to settle that. And the settlement is basically to acknowledge different boundaries that reflect who's taking care of the property. Because this involves real estate, and I just want to also correct my memo, the city attorney advised to present this to city council. Just because it involves real estate, there's no money transaction, nor is there a fiscal responsibility that will lie on the city, where I've come before, and it's involved negotiating for a price or something bigger than this. So in the packet, the memo kind of makes it sound like the city attorney is asking, but it's me on his advice and the email and the property settlement, as we feel we can go forward and settle it up, is in the packet. And that's one of the reasons why we're asking myself the city attorney, we're asking for immediate authority so we can take care of this.
Thank you. For the councilors, we have to amend the agenda, and we did it this morning. If you didn't have the opportunity to review it, you are allowed to make questions to Madam Mayor. If any councilor have any questions or concern, basically what we're doing is just giving the power to the mayor to negotiate without coming to the council. Any councilor? Councilor Kuczynski?
Yeah, Madam Mayor, I apologize for not having had any opportunity to take a look at this. And I certainly would think that it would be our due diligence and duty to see if there's a depiction of a map that shows what we're exchanging with the other party, just so the public is aware what we're doing. I don't know if you have the capacity to put
It's
that
in the
on-
packet,
Yeah, put that on
Yep.
screen.
the map.
Yeah. My apologies. But I'm not sure all the public had the capacity, had the ability
I can
to
go,
look at it.
it's really hard for me to do it from here, so.
Yeah.
If I may comment, President, so this is a negotiation. It's a legal matter that's fully in the executive branch of government, and because there is no fiscal liability or request for money, it's something that clearly falls within the executive function. That said, Councilor Kuczynski, and I have legal opinion on that, I do apologize for the last-minute request for agenda. We did not think we would get where we were getting with the parties around the discontinuance of this way, so it can reflect what actually is happening and sums up some of the liability of risk management of property that at one point was under the control of the city.
It certainly sounds like you're on top of the issues and on top of the negotiation and will represent us well. Typically, we have an opportunity to review these. Also, I understand that this is not involving a financial transaction. That to my fellow councilors.
I just have to, the city solicitor is on top of that too, not just the mayor. Any other councilors? Councilor Sarrett?
I mean, it was last minute, but I understand it was last minute because we wanted to make sure it got to us so we can deal with this in a timely manner. I had an opportunity to review this. I don't have any issues with it. It was actually quite an interesting story. I appreciate the courtesy to extend to the council, but as this is pretty much an executive matter, I don't have any issue with you negotiating a contract or negotiating a settlement, so.
And I have to add something else. Usually, since I'm the city council president, this is going to be my third year, we barely can see this at the last minute, amending the agenda for these type of issues, but I believe and I understand this is really important to start working right away, and that's what I made the decision today to amend the agenda. Any other questions? No? I will take the motion.
I move that the City Council grant the mayor the authority to resolve the litigation entitled Davis Property Management Incorporated versus Easthampton 56154-0096 by way of the agreement for judgment upon legal advice.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to authorize the mayor to set up the case of Davis Property Management, Inc. Versus Easthampton. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kwasinski.
Abstain.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Abstain.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Motion passes with 2 abstentions. Anything else for the mayor?
I would just like to mention, we have equity, closing the equity gap public forum. And I mentioned it's been, it's a very confusing topic or study to to relate out. And so we're having it at the Congregational Church, and the digital study that we're doing, we're the first city and we're in the first cohort working with the Mass Broadband Institute about truly looking at fiber, but also equipment and education and repair of equipment. And so this plan, like many other plans, we do, is the first step towards funding. And being in the first cohort, we're trying to get as much information as we can, and there's some findings to be presented at the hearing. It's Wednesday, the 28th at 6 o'clock at the Congregational Church, and we'll post after that meeting what's going on. And I would encourage people who cannot attend, please email either my office or Karin Kamhort, our IT director, so we can include it in the study. So thank you for the opportunity to say that, and I have nothing further.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yep.
I will take a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to open the public hearing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kwasinski.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Peak. Brad Riley.
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Motion passes. The public hearing is open. The first item that we have is CPA supplemental appropriation. Councilor Peak.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, this is so we've got three CPA appropriations. I hope you'll forgive me. I'm a little scatterbrained. I'm working through some illness, but the first item is $600,000 for land acquisition and creation of 87 units of affordable housing with open space. This was a pretty exciting project where two really, I think, admirable interests, those being affordable housing and open space preservation, that periodically might come into conflict with one another. We managed to find a way for a project to do both. So this is just to acquire the land. If this project goes forward, they'll likely come back to CPA for more money for other parts of the development process, and it could be a number of years before we see these. But just hearing about the project, it seemed like a really exciting and interesting proposal that I personally would really like to see this happen. So the council approved this 3-0. I'm sure there's somebody in the audience who'd like to speak to this from the city's perspective, but I can't actually see. All the people look very small on my screen.
Councilor Peak, you're correct. They're here.
Okay, great. Well,
Who wanna?
I would.
Anyone from the developer want to add something for the public and the councilors before? Yes, yes. Can you please go to the podium, state your name and address for the record?
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Scannell. I'm the owner's representative for the Community Builders. We're the housing developer. Apologize for just getting here, stuck in a lot of traffic on 91. So we're so excited to be bringing this project here and for the city's ongoing support and the CPC's support for this project to bring more affordable housing to Easthampton. We're thrilled to be partnering with Kestrel Land Trust on this property and project so we can achieve two really worthy goals between land conservation and preservation and affordable housing development.
Thank you. Jamie, you want to add something?
Jamie Webb, the senior planner. I was present at the CPA meetings when the committee discussed this project. It had overwhelming support from the committee. They are seeking, it's a multi-phase project. This first phase is just to acquire the, I forget how many acres. I think it's 53 acres in total, about 45 for the open space protection and about 10 for the affordable housing. The $600,000 would, comes out of the affordable housing account, so technically it's going towards the support of affordable housing as opposed to the open space protection, but it is making the project move forward, so it is effectively helping both of those worthy goals for both for land protection and for affordable housing.
And the vote for CPA was unanimous?
There were some members that were absent that night, so it was 7 in favor and none against.
Good.
And then we went to the City Finance Subcommittee. It was 3 in favor, none against.
Any councilors have any questions or comments? Councilor Riley?
Yeah, so I just wanted to, let the public know, so anytime that there are issues of land being taken in Easthampton for development, I always kind of pause and do my due diligence and assess the situation, which was an interesting dilemma because I've spent my entire life doing housing policy and affordable housing development. I trusted the reputation of Kestrel, and I felt like this made sense, but I wanted to do my due diligence. So I reached out to all of the housing advocates in Easthampton, the different stakeholder groups, and everybody unanimously was in support of this. Just to kind of reinforce what Planner Webb was saying, that I think the Community Preservation Act is designed specifically for projects like this. It actually takes care of 2 of the 3 criteria that we can spend money on. In terms of what I think CPA funds should be used for, this is a sort of ideal project. So I just wanted to thank all of the folks who came together to come up with this idea. I think it's really fantastic, and I'm, absolutely in support of it.
Thank you. Any other councilor? Councilor Denham?
Thank you, Mr. President. I think this is an exceptional project in terms of bringing partners together to work with the city to create affordable housing and take care of our open spaces. I think these are the types of partnerships that we would like to see in the future, and ways of continuing to provide affordable housing for our residents, particularly as housing costs continue to rise, cost of living continues to rise, et cetera. And I think that, in the future, these, are, like I said, are the types of projects that I would like to see coming before us.
Thank you. Mr. Back, you want to add something?
Good evening, I'm Jeff Bagg, I'm the planning director, and what I just wanted to add was a couple just elements for the city council to be aware of. First and foremost, I think that we as a community are lucky that we have this proposal and this concept coming to us. It is directly in line with our open space plan and our housing production plan, so that is unique and special for us. And I think that moving forward with the CPA dollars, I think it was alluded to that this is the first phase. There will be additional phases, and I think what we need to be aware of as a community is that the funds for construction of affordable housing are super competitive. So we need to be really prepared to be at the table with these developers throughout the process. So they will likely be coming back for some additional CPA money in the future. And then in terms of council, we would expect city council to see requests for reciprocal easements and the city to be participating in seeking infrastructure grant dollars to support the project. So this is the stacking that the mayor has discussed before. We are going to need to be stacking resources on this project, the next project, as well as the elementary schools, the lodging house, and probably even the project at Tasty Top. So I think city council is going to need to just be ready for these things to keep coming to them. Anything that we can do as a municipality to support these projects is going to be really important, because if we're not ready and participating, then the developers could lose out and they could move to a different city or town, and then we won't have sort of this much needed affordable housing. So I kind of wanted to just put that out there for the council.
Thank you. Anyone from the public? You're from the public now.
Nicole LaChapelle, 123 East Street, Easthampton, occupation mayor. And I say that on purpose. Truly, one, the night that the CPA voted on this, I think $1.2 million in affordable housing. We have battled with housing for so long in this community. It is one of my biggest goals. I am so overjoyed. Thank you to the CPA. Thank you for the consideration. But this project all started with Kestrel Trust. An anonymous donor gave us $500,000 through Kestrel to find affordable housing that also would partner with conservation land. I remember the day sitting in Mark's office and just like how and why, but it's a lot about the work that many of you have done on the council for a long time, long before some of us were even elected. And I am eternally grateful for that. To see $1.2 million in CPA money out of for housing is historic. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. And I'm obviously very appreciative, and it's great partners. I would also echo everything Planner Bagg just said. More and more, and as you saw, revenue forecasts for the state going down, you know, local contributions. I mean, it's ironic. In such tight times mean the world, and it has been the gotten us over the edge into some very competitive grants, and I believe it will continue to be. And I, said it many times, but I'll tell you. I mean, one of the reasons why I, really have the honor of serving on the Unlock Housing Production Commission is because of what we've done here in Easthampton over the last 6 years, and how we use the tools we have within Easthampton and put us, become true stakeholders. So thank you very much. I'll apply all of what I just said to the other requests and hopefully future requests. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Anyone from the public?
Again, Lindsay from 73 Mount Tom Ave. I'm actually making a statement on behalf of Jana Tatro, Chair of the Easthampton Affordable and Fair Housing Partnership, which I hope to soon be a part of officially. Good evening, City Council. The Affordable and Fair Housing Partnership enthusiastically supports the 2 CPA requests before you tonight to support affordable housing in Easthampton. Both projects, 385 Main Street and 1 Industrial Lofts, have attended meetings with the partnership, and the partnership has voted to support their respective CPA request and the projects as a whole. The project at 385 Main Street will provide approximately 87 units of affordable housing, along with the preservation of open space. And 1 Industrial Lofts will add 96 units of affordable housing on Ferry Street. While the projects are requesting substantial amounts of CPA funding, the partnership thinks that this is an excellent investment of city resources, providing permanent, affordable housing and open space protection that will benefit residents for years to come. We urge the city to approve these requests. It's also worth noting that after tonight, the city isn't done with its commitment to building more affordable housing. We have at least 2 more projects in the pipeline: the rehabilitation of the elementary schools and the Sierra Vista Commons project. These projects will also need CPA support as the state expects local communities to invest in affordable housing. It's one of the criteria used to evaluate projects applying for low-income housing tax credit financing, the primary source of affordable housing initiatives in housing financing in Massachusetts. We hope that we can continue to rely on City Council to support these important initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? And I know people online want to participate, but I'm letting the people in person first, and then we go on remote.
Thank you. Diane McLean, 13 Matthew Drive, Easthampton. I'm also the head of the Biscommon Conservation Trust. Dear councilors, Biscommon Conservation Trust hopes the City Council will approve the request for CPA funding for the Community Builders and Kestrel Land Trust Growing Green Easthampton project at 385 Main Street. Since we first learned of the effort in 2022, Pascomic has eagerly endorsed the Growing Green Easthampton initiatives, that's better, refreshing approach to a few remaining large parcels in Easthampton. Cooperative site design that starts with protection of critical natural areas and then pursues sustainable development in suitable locations, particularly of much-needed affordable housing. This is in accord with our ethos as a land trust and preserves habitat, but also creates opportunities for passive recreation and appreciation of nature by all. For over 40 years, our organization has protected critical habitat in watershed in Easthampton. The Manhan River is a principal focus of our land trust. The 40 acres or more on 385 Main Street property, which the CPA Conservation Fund would set aside for conservation, is of particular and critical interest to us and to Easthampton. It adjoins Pascomic's 38-acre Pomeroy Meadow Conservation Area, which borders the Manhan River for half a mile. In 2011, generous CPA funding from the city helped Pascomic secure 22 acres and public access to greatly enhance our original hold there. The portion of Pomeroy Meadow Conservation Area just downslopes of the 385 Main Street property. This boasts especially rich, intact floodplain meadow and forest of statewide importance. Insensitive development would threaten that rare resource. Therefore, securing this area has long been a goal of ours, one unobtainable with Pascomic's modest means, because of the development value of the frontage. For these reasons, we are especially grateful to Kestrel Land Trust, who is leading a partnership to acquire this property above the Manhan River and protect its core of prime farmland and critical habitat, adjoining our conservation land, while its partners pursue thoughtful, sustainable development away from these sensitive areas. Funding from the city for both land protection and affordable housing is clearly vital to the success of this effort. We believe this project aligns with every environmental, land use, and community development goal of Easthampton's plans, and with the wishes of the community. Protection of our most critical natural areas while promoting affordable housing and energy-efficient, sustainable construction. We urge your approval. Thank you very much.
That was perfect.
Good use of time.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public in person?
Good evening, councilors. My name is Mark Walmsley. I'm the Conservation Director at Kestrel Land Trust in Amherst, Mass. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to everyone for the support that we've received for this project over the past months. And I would like to thank the councilors for considering our request tonight. I can truly say this is one of the most exciting CPA funding projects that I've been involved with in the past 10 years. It is something really, truly innovative. Not only have we tried to address two clearly expressed city needs, but also working even more broadly to address multiple crises that we're all facing with biodiversity, climate change, and housing justice. I just want to let everyone know that by many indications, the projects that is before you today, which, as many have said, was really only possible by a mutual willingness to collaborate across the housing and conservation sectors, and with the critical support of the city, the landowners and their patients, and the gracious and generous private donor who kicked off the entire Growing Green project. I don't know if people know that beyond the city, this is really poised to place Easthampton, I believe, at the national forefront of an innovative approach for which there are really few examples at this scale and with this vision of combining housing and conservation, and it is already getting noticed nationally. So I'm really proud of this project. I think it's gained some wonderful momentum for some very good reasons. I'm proud that we were able to put it together and bring together all the partners that we have here. So I thank you again for considering your support.
Thank you. Anyone else? I'm going to apologize right away if I mispronounce any names. Kayam? That's good.
You got it.
Perfect.
So I'm Kayam Jamrog McQuaid with the Easthampton Housing Coalition, the Affordable and Fair Housing Partnership, and resident of 8 Jones Drive. To keep from repeating too much of what has already been eloquently said by the other people here tonight, I would just like to support the Community Builders project. I think while creating dense, affordable housing, it ensures the protection and conservation of a huge swath of land under the well-established Kestrel Trust. It also addresses equity concerns around access to outdoor recreation by developing affordable units with pedestrian access. I think this project will serve as a blueprint for what smart development can look like both in Easthampton, across the state, and across the country. So as everyone said before, thank you guys. And it's extremely amazing to see all of the community support for a project like this.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing none, Councilor Peak.
All right. I will make the following request in the form of a motion. Request is hereby made for approval of the following appropriation. Amount requested, $600,000 to be appropriated from CPA reserved for affordable housing, $600,000 to be appropriated to Growing Green 385 Main Street, $600,000. The amounts requested will be used for the following purpose: acquisition of approximately 10 acres of land for the creation of 87 units of affordable housing and approximately 43 acres of land for open space conservation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second from the CPA supplemental appropriation of $600,000 for the land acquisition and creation of 87 units of affordable housing with open space. Any further discussion?
If I might.
Councilor Kuczynski?
Thank you, Mr. President. If I might just say, it is really heartening and reassuring to see all the parties here under one roof, in the same, heading in the same direction. So both the housing and the open space groups. That being said, I won't repeat all the platitudes that have been brought to this project. I am in full support.
Thank you. Any other councilors? No? Marianne?
JP Kwasinski.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye. Motion passes. Councilor Peak?
Thank you, Mr. President. The next appropriation we have up is $100,000 from the same fund, CPA, Reserve for Affordable Housing. This is to Ferry Street Affordable Housing to cover the pre-development costs for the creation of 96 units of affordable housing. One thing that I recall from this, meeting is when we just look at the various, the costs of these things, the number of units. I think one thing that we can feel really good about with this project is that a lot of the work, a lot of the funds that the council has appropriated over the years and the resources that we've dedicated to the Ferry Street redevelopment project has in a lot of ways made this possible, but I know there's always been a question about, the presence of affordable housing within that development. So I'm excited to see this happen. Once again, this passed the Finance Committee 3-0.
Thank you, Councilor Peak. Jamie, you want to add something on this one?
Thank you, councilors. Yes, I just wanted to add that this project will develop, say, 96 units of affordable housing in a brand new building in the Ferry Street redevelopment, like the One Ferry Street complex. They was very well supported by the CPA committee. They voted 8-0 to support the project. This is a unique funding request. It is $500,000 over 3 fiscal years. This first fiscal year request is for $100,000 as a supplemental appropriation. The next 2 fiscal years, you'll see in the CPA budget, $200,000 in each of the FY25 and FY26 budgets to continue those payments. The developer will not get the remaining money until the city receives the affordable housing restrictions.
Thank you. Any councilor have any questions or comments? Seeing none, anyone from the public have any questions or comments? Mr. Bag?
Good evening. I'm Jeff Bag. I'm the planning director, and I just wanted to speak in support of this request as well. As Jamie alluded to, this is similar in nature where these requests will be coming in 2 phases or 3 phases. And I think, as Councilor Peak mentioned, this is really good progress for this project. The council had received and reviewed easement plans, so, starting in 2018, and we've already been awarded some infrastructure funding to support the project. And I think this project is unique because it's extremely dense development in an area close to goods and services, roadways, sidewalks, and the bike path. So we really want to support this project as well. And I think moving forward, the ways that we can be creative as a municipality are pretty minimal. But if you think about what we've already done in terms of the DIF district, so district improvement financing, some of the other tools that I think this council is going to see and need to explore going forward is tax increment financing, so the version which is a TIF. And then there will be other things such as reduced building permit fees, which are other ways that the city can financially support some of these projects. And the last thing, I just wanted to give credit to this developer who's been working in the city and committed 100% of his resources to Easthampton since 2018 and probably before. For those who were patient, may have been able to see that this was always being attempted. The goal was always to incorporate affordable housing into this project, and I think now, because we've been patient and supportive, we hope to see it come to fruition. So just wanted to voice my support for it. And I don't know, there was a developer's representative here from Home City, Peter Serafino, so maybe he's going to be virtual, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Mr. Peter?
Yes, hi, good evening. Sorry I couldn't be with you in person. I am Peter Serafino with Home City Development. We're a not-for-profit affordable housing developer based in Springfield. We have over 400 apartments that we own and have developed in Hampden and Hampshire counties. And in this instance, at 11 Ferry Street, we're working with One Industrial Lofts and Mike Michon, and we're happy to be piggybacking on all the great work that he and all of you have accomplished there on Ferry Street. This is really an exciting project for us in that it's very shovel ready. You've set the stage with all the necessary permitting, and he's done a good bit of work as well. In fact, next week, our initial application goes into the state for the tax credits and other resources that are needed for this project. And it's unusual to get funded the first time in, but even if we go into a mini competition later this year, there's a good chance that we can start construction in 2025 and have occupancy in 2026. And so we look forward to bringing 96 additional apartments, a few of which will be market rate, most of which will be affordable. And we think you'll be pleased when we're able to unveil plans. It'll be an attractive building that'll fit well with what's there and fit well with the community. So I want to thank you for your support of the CPC's efforts to help us fund this project.
Thank you. Any councilor have any questions or comments? Seeing none. Anyone from the public? Madam Mayor?
I won't cry. The remarkable thing about the project at Ferry Street, and we were, I was a little crushed when we couldn't get affordable housing into that first phase. For this particular partnership, you're talking about private equity, really floating the front part of this project so Home City can come in and do their part. The very unique part of this Home City's proposal is they're going into the round for tax credits. They're one of 95 folks who are invited to apply, 95 across the state, so kudos to them and their application, but also they're really stacking the money, what I like to say in an Easthampton way. They're going for affordable tax credits for a 9% deal and a 4% deal at once. I think that really shows the aggressive stance and commitment they have to affordable housing. As Mr. Serafino just stated, the possible occupancy in 2026 is made so by a very new kind of approach to affordable housing, and it's modular. There will not be a basement where everybody in New England thinks they need a basement. It'll be a pad, and then it clicks together as a modular building and opens a lot sooner and and hits all of the code. So again, a really great proposal coming forward. Kudos to Mr. Michon, but also to Home City to kind of help us through this path. And with the rollout of more formalized plans, you will also be hearing from myself and the Planning and DPW and CPA Committee about stacked grants to just bring that area to life.
Thank you. Anyone from the public? Anyone participating remote? Seeing none, Councilor Peak.
All right, I will make this request in the form of a motion. Request is hereby made for the approval of the following appropriation. Amount requested, $100,000 to be appropriated from CPA Reserve for Affordable Housing, $100,000 to be appropriated to Ferry Street Affordable Housing, $100,000. The amounts requested will be used for the following purpose: pre-development costs for the creation of 96 units of affordable housing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the CPA supplementary appropriation of $100,000 for the pre-development costs for creation of 96 units of affordable housing on Ferry Street. Any further discussion? Councilor Riley.
So I just wanted to make a statement, and this actually goes to all of the other local governments in Massachusetts, local governments across the United States. This is what action on housing looks like. This is doable. It's easy to accomplish if you actually put your mind together and you collaborate. I mean, we've got examples of, open land space, conservation, modular housing developments. This is the kind of stuff that local governments around the United States are struggling to figure out. How do we actually solve the housing crisis? Easthampton is the way that you do it. So I hope that this gets out to people in other governments. Reach out to us. We would love to teach you how to do this stuff. It's totally doable. And I'm just so happy that we get to do this. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilor? Seeing none, Marianne.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Brad Riley,
Aye.
Tamara Smith,
Aye.
JT Terrell,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Aye.
Connie Denham,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kwasinski.
Aye.
Motion passes. Councilor Peak.
Okay, one final CPA appropriation. And this one, just sort of handle it. This one is $200,000. That is going to be going from the CPA undesignated fund to finally finish up the Nonotuck pool and area restoration construction. We did discuss this, and Jamie was nice enough to talk about it from the CPA side, and we voted on this one once again 3-0.
Thank you. Mr. Mason, do you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. So this is the final phase of the total package. The first phase was the pool itself, filtration system, the construction of the interior of the pool. The reason it was broken out into two different bids and two different segments is we didn't want a pool company doing our sidewalks and fencing, and we certainly don't want road construction for sidewalks and crosswalks and things like that, doing the pool project. So it's been broken out into two. Overall, it meets our goal of getting the pool completed and open for this year. We have a June 1st deadline for this project that as relates to the park grant. The phase one of the work by the pool company is moving along. They're working during the winter and getting things. So this will put a bow on the project for that part of it. So we're excited to have it completed this spring and hopefully opened up with lifeguards for the year.
Thank you. Any councilor have any questions or comments to Councilor Saret?
I'm just happy to see this proceeding forward. Nonotuck Park and our Parks Department, especially the pool, is a vital aspect of recreation, and that park itself plays a vital role in our city. It's relatively free to get in some way, and sometimes it is free to get in. Just, I encourage everyone, let's not stop here. Let's make sure that the infrastructure that we have is repaired and properly operational, but let's make sure that we're looking forward to realizing the reality of what Nonotuck Park and our parks look like in 2024, and make sure that we continue to keep our eyes to the future and are funding our Parks Department.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors? Councilor Terrell?
Thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to echo Councilor Zaret's sentiments. As somebody who had a pleasure of serving on the Park and Rec Commission for a couple of years at the inception of this pool project, it's great to see it finally coming to fruition and coming to an end. And I'm really looking forward to this upcoming summer and having the pool open and really having that as a focal point at Nonotuck Park.
Thank you. Any other councilor? Councilor Derby?
I'll make it brief. I spent probably 8 to 10 years almost every day in the summer in that pool with my kids as they were growing up. And it was kind of amazing, but also it was not the most scenic place in the world. And I think probably Jeff remembers, it was a meeting in this room years ago talking about priorities for different grants, and I was like, we need a new pool. And so it's really nice to see this happening and finishing up, and it's just another feather in our cap for having open space and recreation in Easthampton, which is vital to having a healthy, happy populace. So I'm really happy.
Thank you. Councilor Denham?
Thank you, Mr. President. I second everything that everyone has said. I think the other thing that's really important to recognize and remember is that as we are dealing with climate change and global warming, et cetera, the pool is an important aspect to not only recreation, but providing a space for people in our community, residents in our community, to access cooling spaces in order to be able to address the heat that they are dealing with, and continuing to find ways of getting people outdoors and not just indoors with air conditioning, et cetera, but providing safe ways for our members of the community to find recreation and be outdoors.
Thank you. Councilor Kwasinski?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to, I'll be brief, mention that I think it's really important that we have a pool that is really a gem of our community, because if we bring this to upgrade to current standards, the pools in the area in other communities are very few and far between, the outdoor summer pools. This is a resource that is, I'm not going to say unique, but very rare, very rare. And kudos to everybody who participated in this. I would like to just throw one remark to Mr. Mason. You promised that you'd be back and that your quotes would be reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilor? Anyone from the public who want to participate in this conversation with councilors? Anyone? No? Councilor Peak?
Okay, I will make this request in the form of a motion. Request is hereby made for the approval of the following appropriation. Amount requested, $200,000 to be appropriated from CPA undesignated fund, $200,000 to be appropriated to Nonotuck Pool and Area Restoration Construction. The amount requested will be used for the following purpose. Phase 2 construction funds for the rehabilitation and restoration of the pool and surrounding recreation area.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the $200,000 from CPA supplemental appropriation for the Phase 2 construction funds, Nonotuck Park Pool Project. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Brad Riley,
Aye.
Tamara Smith,
Aye.
JT Terrell,
Aye.
Owen Zaret,
Aye.
Connie Denham,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Omar Gomez,
Aye.
JP Kwasinski, Tom Peak.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you, Councilor Peak. We have Eversource utility pole locations, Councilor Zaret.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we have before us a request from Eversource and Leidos for 4 new poles and relocation of 4 poles along the Loudville Road corridor. This is part of a reconductor project, and the new conductor that's going to be installed is heavier, and so the pole spans need to be closer together. We met with the Leidos representative, Mr. Adam Yelf. That was on January 22nd at our property committee to discuss. There were a few small questions that needed to be clarified, and the property committee recommended that we move forward 3-0. Just to clarify too, the new poles are being installed, the ones that are being moved, from my understanding, and the representative is here, Mr. President, at your discretion, after I finish presenting, to comment more. Our understanding was that this won't require the moving of or installation of any new poles, that the other ones that exist are within or shorter than the acceptable span for this project. Again, we voted to recommend 3-0. I'll also add as a footnote that there was a question that came up as to whether one of the new poles was already installed, but I don't have any information as to exactly where that is. There was communication very promptly with the Leidos rep, who did affirm that it would be unusual for them to move ahead installing a new pole without proper permission from the council. So they can clarify that. My suspicion might be that they were either servicing existing poles, but we'll get some clarification today. That's all. Yep.
Adam?
Hello, all. Thank you, Owen, for that. Yes, I would just like to say, this entire project is part of, or the 8 poles that are being newly installed or relocated. It's all part of a larger project to improve service reliability in the area. A lot of Eversource had identified this particular stretch of Loudville Road as an area where there were a numerous amount of tree-related outages. That is why this project is occurring. And as Councilor Zara stated, we just require the movement of the installation or movement of these 8 poles to improve reliability in the future going forward. The reasoning is, the heavier wire, as Councilor Zara stated, is to reduce the amount of sag and reduce the amount of sway as well on these wires over longer spans. Regarding your comment about the poles already placed, I will say that Eversource has begun construction on this project. The reasoning is for my understanding of it is that these poles that are set are the ones that are being, as you could say, replaced in place. These are poles that Eversource will set in the same or within the same setting area or within 5 feet of the existing pole. My understanding is that these do not require the petitions. However, I will say, if I have not been out there recently, and if Eversource had installed any of these new poles, that is certainly a mistake on Eversource's part. It is not general Eversource procedure to be setting these petitioned poles without your council's approval.
Any councilors have any questions or comments? No? Any, Councilor Denham?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to be clear. So we had a gentleman speaking earlier today regarding tree removal. Is that in relation to this? And if so, was there a discussion around tree removal?
That is in relation to this project. I had not discussed this with the town. My understanding, so at least to give you some background, my role in this is as the designer. Eversource has a different department for tree trimming. And generally my understanding of this is when the arborists, Eversource's arborists go out to judge what trees do require trimming and which do not. They do their best to minimize the amount of trees that's required. However, as I stated, the overall goal still was to improve reliability in the area, especially due to these tree-related outages. The arborists do at least make efforts to communicate to property owners to reduce issues and, make sure that the property owners are agreeable to taking trees located on their property down.
And sorry, Mr. President, one more question. Did the committee, the committee has had no conversation about this? Is that correct, Chair Zaret?
We did not discuss tree removal.
So, Mr. President, I just have some concerns, and I think in light of the professional insight that was shared today, I think that's a conversation that should be had, and I would feel more comfortable making a decision if that conversation took place before making a decision about this issue. In part, I think we've had multiple conversations about climate change, shade, tree shade, et cetera. And I personally don't feel comfortable making a decision at this time if there is concern on the part of the community regarding tree removal.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other, Councilor Kuczynski?
Mr. President, in relation to Councilor Denham's comments and the excellent presentation by Mr. Taft, who was employed by Eversource and is an expert in the area, this brings up some serious question about tree removal. That was not something that was brought to us as a committee. The only thing we were really presented with was whether or not the poles can be located in certain locations. That's the purview of the property committee. I wonder if we have any leverage at all, and whatever leverage we do have over Eversource is the linchpin is right now. So I would certainly be amenable to, should the other councilors agree, to postponing this hearing to the next meeting.
I think that's a great idea, but we have if people from the public want to say something today, they will be allowed. Councilor Smith.
Okay, so as I just want to know whether or not the trees that are being cut down in Mr. Taft's property would be cut down if it wasn't because these poles are being moved. So my question stem, I don't know which comes first, like the yeah, that's my question.
Okay. And I get that answer could be, that question could be made at the committee level if we're going to continue in with this hearing. Councilor Sarot.
I have no investment either way. I just wanted to echo that the purview of the committee is to approve the poles. The process with removing trees is not something that we typically approve. That's a separate process, as we discussed earlier. It's kind of similar to the conversation we had with the mayor earlier, that we're basically allowing a process to move forward. Part of that process might include tree work associated with the installation or moving of these poles. Typically, that's done for safety's sake. They don't just indiscriminately remove trees for this. If there's a way that the council can be an advocate for the environment in that capacity, sure. I have no skin in the game other than to do what's right for the community and make sure that we're not cutting corners here. So I'm open to whatever people want to do.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other councilors? Councilor Riley.
Yeah, I also am totally fine with, what the council wants to do. If we want to delay this for a little while and take a closer look, I think that's okay. I did just want to, point out that, a lot of this work that's being done is to try to prevent as many power outages that have been happening out in Loudville Road. So, this is an energy concern as much as it is a tree removal concern. I also had a conversation with Director Nuttleman, and, he did inform me that DPW is following the shade removal, tree removal process as it's outlined in Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 87, for the trees that are in discussion. So, obviously there's a part of me that doesn't want to chop down trees. That's just how I am as a person. But there is also this extra piece as public administrators that we also need to provide energy and electricity to people in this community. Everything that we do now as a society requires electricity. We pay our bills with electricity, we communicate with our families with electricity, all of our appliances. So, I understand the concern about chopping down trees, and for sure, we should definitely look into this to be sure. But I think that the benefit of having safe and secure energy for the people that live on Loudville Road is more important than 10 trees. But I'm okay with whatever people want to do.
Okay. Any other councilors? Councilor Peak. And then you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I feel like there's a situation that we run into sometimes where something comes up to a public hearing, and in the process of doing that, new information emerges. And when we take those things to a vote that night, I find we often ultimately wish we didn't. I don't fully understand the city's or Eversource's side of this tree removal story, and I don't fully understand the exact way in which this interacts with the proposed project, but we did just have a constituent who had some concern, and I just, if we're not going to sort of investigate those things, then I don't know why we even have these this process and these hearings. It may very well be that we ultimately conclude that this is everyone's doing everything the right way, and this is just how it's going to be. And if so, that's fine. But we did just get new information that we haven't really had an opportunity to thoroughly vet in this context. And so I wouldn't mind getting some more information on it, I guess.
Thank you. Councilor Smith?
I have a question of procedure. I know that the Mr. Taft, who came at public speak, I was just hoping you could explain for the public why he spoke at the beginning at public speak rather than during the public speak time for this particular this particular public hearing.
So he chose to talk at the public speak time, and because he was talking about trees. that was kind of hard to attach that with the poll locations. And that's what I allow him to do in the public speak time, not the public hearing. Basically, that was the reason that I allow him to participate in public speak time, not the public hearing.
Thanks, Mr. President. I wasn't sure if it was due to having the stamp being today, so I just wanted to make sure that wasn't.
Councilor Sarek?
Yeah, I think what's very clear is that there's a lot that isn't clear. And so I don't even know if the trees in question are related to existing lines of poles that have no relationship to this proposal, or if this has to do with trees that have to be moved for the new poles to be installed, or the other ones to be relocated. So as far as I can tell, I don't think waiting 2 weeks, unless the representative somehow tells us this is a matter of emergency, makes a difference. I think that there's been some really thoughtful input here, and we can get some questions answered in the meantime, and reconvene with this at the next meeting with some clarification. Maybe get the DPW director here, and some clarification from Eversource.
Thank you. Any other one before I open it to the public? Anyone from the public that want to participate? I don't see any, but I do have a few questions. The first one is, and is more than a question, is a statement, is we have public hearings basically to allow people to participate if they're in favor or against it, or if they have any comments, right? Before the city approve it or give it a permit to someone or entity or corporation to move forward what they're requesting. That's the main reason of having a public hearing, right?
Wait one.
Yes. We're waiting because people are getting out of another meeting. We apologize. Can you please close the door? Thank you. So that was my first statement, right? So my second statement is I went there and I looked all the numbers of the new poll locations. I looked through the numbers, I went there, and I'm not an expert, but based on the information that we have, with the number that we have, look like they already installed all the poles. And that is really concerning, because if John Mojica do something in his property without permit, probably he's going to be in trouble. And the people from Easthampton deserve why a big company that looks like they already install poles without the permit, because that's the reason we are here. So my recommendation to this council is, one, is I don't feel comfortable approving this. And the second one is I want to continue, I agree with Councilor Kwasinski, continuing this hearing because the property committee should do a site visit based on the information that I got today, that I got pictures. And those pictures match with the numbers that they provide to us. And those poles looks new. So for those reasons, I don't feel comfortable voting for this. Especially for a big company. They have the money and they can wait. Councilor Sarek.
Mr. President, can you just clarify, those are the poles with the M after them?
All of them.
Okay. So those are there, okay.
Councilor Peak?
If it's acceptable with you, Mr. President, I would make a motion to continue this hearing until our next meeting.
February 23rd.
We don't have a second.
I'll second.
Councilor Sarek, do you feel more comfortable moving to March?
That might be smart if we're talking about scheduling a meeting between a property meeting with all the other meetings that are going on and doing all of our due diligence and a site visit, especially with potential for inclement weather. I think that would be my request.
We draw.
Fair enough. I'll withdraw my motion.
Withdraw it.
And
You can make another one for March.
I'll make a motion to continue this until our first meeting in March.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to continue this public hearing for the first meeting of March. Any further discussion?
Just a
Councilor Riley.
quick question for clarification. So there is a public shade tree hearing that's happening on February 15th at 3 p.m. Do we need to do anything related to this meeting? No? Okay. That's all I need to know. Thank you.
Any other councilor? Councilor Sarek.
It's actually potentially even better that that process may have happened. It will inform us. So that was good.
Marianne?
Yes. Tamara Smith.
Aye.
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez. JP Kwasinski.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. I will take a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. Any further discussion? Seeing none. Marianne?
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kwasinski. Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes. Public hearing is officially closed. Now we have correspondence announcement from the Council President or Vice President. I don't have anything. Report for standing committees. Finance, Councilor Peak.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met 2 weeks ago, and we discussed the appropriations that were discussed already. We also received the quarterly report from Hadel Patel, our auditor, which we are sort of digesting now, and we will likely discuss in the coming meetings. But from the first view, everything looks encouraging. The one thing that I do have something to bring forward is that we looked over the FY25 City Council budget and voted to recommend to the council that it be approved as presented. So if, Mr. President, just being remote, it's a little awkward for me to discuss the details of it, but if you would like to discuss it with the broader council, since it's your proposed budget, that'd be fine. But at whatever point it's acceptable to you, I'm prepared to make a motion to approve that budget.
I just want to say that we increased the budget for Councilor Denham. You want to speak?
Go ahead.
You can
No,
go.
go ahead. I was.
You was at the
No, no,
meeting.
no. You have it in front of you. I just wanted to ask the clarification.
All right. Basically, the budget is changing a little bit. The only request that I made was adding $40 for the 200 for education for the counselors. That way, at least we can cover the cost of the MMA conference. That is how much it cost. The counselor pay for their hotel, transportation, and meals. So the city didn't cover anything from us, just those $240. So everything else will stay the same. If any councilor have any questions or concerns, feel free to ask now. Councilor Sarek?
My only thought, and I apologize, Mr. President, I didn't even see that proposal, so that's completely 100% on me. My only thought is typically when you do attend MMA that you're probably staying one night. And my only request would be for the council to consider covering a night of an average hotel stay in that area. Essentially as part of as what's expected as part of our continuing education or professional development.
That will be probably a conversation that I can have with the mayor when I present this budget to the mayor, because at the end of the day, this is just a proposal. The mayor is the one who makes the budget. I will have that conversation with her to see her input on this. Thank you. Councilor Peak?
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. I move to approve the proposed FY25 City Council budget as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the City Council budget for fiscal year 2025 as presented. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Owen Zaret,
Aye.
Connie Denham,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kwasinski,
Aye.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Brad Riley,
Aye.
Tamara Smith,
Aye.
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Motion passes. Councilor Peak?
And then we have not really started our review of salaries for elected/appointed officials, but that's something that we'll likely start discussing soon. We will be meeting a week from today at 6 p.m. in conference room 1.
And Councilor Peak, we need a 90-day extension for the charter required review of salaries for elected officials and appointment committees.
Of course, my apologies, Mr. President. I'll move to make a request for a 90-day extension for that item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for 90-day extension of that particular item. Any further discussion? I see Councilor Denham.
I had a separate question, sorry.
Okay, just wait for that. Any councilors? Marianne?
Connie Denham,
Aye.
Salem Derby,
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kwasinski.
Aye.
Tom Peak,
Aye.
Brad Riley,
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
JT Terrell,
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Motion passes. That's conclude, right?
Yes, that concludes. Thank you. Well, Connie has her hand up.
Thank you, Councilor Peak. Public Safety, Councilor Sarret.
I have a question.
Councilor Denham.
Yep, sorry. I just wanted clarification. So maybe I missed this at our last meeting. Did we move the time from 5:30 to 6?
Oh, no, my brain's just bad.
Okay,
I meant 5:30.
Okay.
Okay, just want to make sure the next meeting.
Thank
you.
Yeah. Public Safety,
All right,
Councilor
thanks.
Sarret.
Thank you. So we have not met since our last meeting. We will be meeting, let me pull up my notes, sorry, towards the end of the month, February 27th at 6 p.m. in conference room 1. That's for the fire department report and any other items that went on the agenda. I forgot to mention this last time, but I just wanted to make sure I appropriately thanked engineer Dan Murphy and everyone else involved with the speed limit reduction, both in terms of bringing that forward, doing the study and work, and ultimately getting it approved. Those signs are now posted. So for the members of the community that asked when that becomes official, it is official. And the rapid flashing beacons, those two new ones are also activated and functioning. I don't have anything to extend, and I have nothing else to report, so this concludes.
Thank you, Councilor Sarret. Appointments, Councilor Riley.
Thank you, Mr. President. The appointment committee last met this Monday. We did not have any appointees before us, so we used the time to sort of strategize on how to recruit folks for the open positions throughout the city. Two seats in particular that we are focused on. We have a vacancy in the Board of Public Health, and we have a vacancy on the Board of Public Works. Those two boards have a lot of influence on the business of the city, and they are both 3-member boards. So when we have one person missing, an illness, a slight disagreement on policy, any of these things can actually stop the strategy of public health and public works in our community. So this is to put out to the community. If you know of individuals in Easthampton who have skill sets in public health or in public works and utilities that would be interested in applying, please direct them to our city website. In addition, the last thing that I will say is that we also were looking at talking about what a job description might look like for these types of positions. Currently, there is no requirement that says what the individuals have to be. So I think it's important for us as a committee, when we're vetting these candidates, to ensure that they actually have the skill sets and the professional qualifications to be able to uphold the duties of those positions. Last piece was discussing the licensing board. So we currently have 2 vacancies on the licensing board. This is a sort of municipal level 5 alarm fire. So without a licensing board, things like Cultural Chaos, Food Truck Friday, the ability to sell alcohol in our restaurants, the ability to sell cars. I mean, this is a wide, expansive board that functionally allows our economic industries to carry out their business. So, we talked about what some of the requirements were to be on the licensing board. We also spoke with Lindsay Secula, who is the department head for administrative work under the mayor. She also serves in a capacity where she's the clerk on the licensing board, so we had a conversation with her about what the types of requirements would look like in an ideal candidate. So, and then other than that, there were no motions to make or anything like that, so it was just a time to have a conversation and strategize.
And the next meeting?
So the next meeting is going to be on February 20th, and the reason for that being on a Tuesday is because of President's Day on Monday. So we will not have the meeting then. It will be 6 p.m., Conference Room 2, which is right here behind City Council chambers, and thus concludes.
Thank you, Councilor. Ordinance, Councilor Denham. You're muted.
Yep, thank you, Mr. President, I appreciate it. So we had a conversation at our last meeting about the amendments to the electronic message center sign ordinance. Councilor Derby brought Councilor Smith and I up to speed on past conversations, et cetera. We do have a meeting, although it has not been officially confirmed, but we are going to have a joint meeting with the planning board on February 27th. I believe that's going to take place at 6 p.m. We're just waiting for the official confirmation, but the planning director is working on that. We do have a couple of just outstanding questions just in regards to posting signs on buildings that have historical significance, historical buildings, as well as kind of the lighting or the brightness of the sign. So we were just going to communicate that via email, though, once I had those answers. But it looks like we're going to have some stuff coming to us, so we haven't planned a meeting, our next meeting yet. So I will do that in the next, well, after this evening, I will plan that, and we will post that meeting information, and thus concludes.
Thank you, Councilor Denham. Property, Councilor Sarrett.
Thank you. We just had our public hearing for our single agenda item, and now that has been continued. I agree with the prudence of a site visit. We'll have to figure that out, especially with daylight being at a premium currently. We may have to schedule a weekend site visit and then an actual in-chambers meeting. I'll work on that with the other members. So I'll send something out after this meeting. And when's the, well, we have another meeting coming up. Thus concludes.
Thank you, Councilor Sarrett. Rules and Government Relations, Councilor Kwasinski.
Mr. President, the Rules and Government Relations Committee will meet twice this month. We have scheduled a meeting for February 14th at 6:30 p.m. in room 1. Hopefully the Finance Committee will wrap up by then, and we'll be able to have access to the room. At that time, we'll be discussing Councilor Denham's proposal to amend Rule 5E by dealing, currently the language reads the Pledge of Allegiance to be item number 2 on our agenda, and the proposal is to change the language to read Pledge of Allegiance or a moment of silence of no more than 30 seconds. So that will be a time to discuss the matter. It's Valentine's Day. I hope we have all good hearts and bring those to the meeting because we'll be listening to all sides of any discussion here. Thank you so much. The 28th, we'll be discussing Councilor Peak's proposal to implement a multi-winner ranked choice voting, sorry. And send that as a request to a special act of the legislature. And that will occur on February 28th, also a Wednesday, and also at 6:30, and also in room 1. This concludes.
Thank you, Councilor Kwasinski. Councilor Peak, I guess your question was related to your proposal?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
New business. First, we have the first item that I'm going to take, and then I'm going to pass it to the Vice President Derby, is the request for immediate attention is to approve and sign the March 5th, 2024 presidential primary warrant. We've been doing this every time there is an election coming, so it's nothing new, and we want people to vote. We have to do that tonight. Councilor.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, please.
I move to approve the March 5th, 2024 presidential primary warrant.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
J.P. Kwasinski.
Aye.
Tom Peak. Tom?
Sorry, aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
J.T. Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Motion passes. Vice President Derby?
Thank you, Mr. President. We also have a request for immediate action for a ceasefire resolution. I'll pass that to Councilor Denham.
Councilor Denham?
Yep. So President Gomez and I were reached out by multiple people within the Jewish community requesting that we put together a ceasefire resolution, which we did, and we sought feedback from members of the Jewish community. I think there is a considerable amount of concern about not only the actions of Hamas that were horrific and of which there are still hostages being held, but also the response to that, which has led to over 25,000 Palestinian lives being lost. Since the start of this war, I'll call it that, within the United States, acts of hate, anti-Semitism has increased by over 380%, as well as the result has resulted in hate crimes against Muslims, which has increased by over 250%. There is a direct correlation between this war and the increase in hate that has been directed at both Muslims, Palestinians. We're seeing Palestinians who have been shot, attacked, etc., as well as acts of hate against members of the Jewish community. And within our community, we have a responsibility to respond to such acts of hate. And so this request came. We had input from members of the Jewish community who provided feedback, and we are presenting this resolution here today as our responsibility to address anti-Semitism as well as Islamophobia, and this war is feeding that within our community, and we, on behalf of members of the community who have asked us to write this, are asking for this council to take action.
Thank you, Councilor Denham. Before I open it to the other councilors, I just want to make a statement. I'm a person of peace. I believe that this group of people, of 9 people that are in the council, are people of peace. If you spend some time out there in the community, you're going to find out that our community is our community of peace. Being saying that, I recognize an individual and a country, they have the right to defend themselves. That's clear. But not abusing anyone, especially little kids. We are not taking any positions, but we are being clear with this resolution. The Hamas is a terrorist group. That's clear. And we're not going to hide that. But the Palestinian people are not Hamas. And we have to be clear with that too. The only thing that we are putting in this resolution that we want to send to our representative at the federal level is to ask for a ceasefire. Simple as that. It's as simple as that. We're not asking for anything special. We are asking for that. And I'm going to use a sample. Can you imagine if a person go to a bank, to rob a bank, and one of the employees call the police? And when this person find out that the police is outside, he start having hostage. And by the way, probably he killed someone inside. Is the police job to kill everybody there because we want this guy, this person? Or is this the police job to be secure that everybody inside the building is safe? And of course, we want the person because this person committed a crime and this person have to pay. But not at any cost. Not at any cost. What we're asking is that the same. It's a ceasefire because not at any cost, the people that are innocent should be paying. They shouldn't be paying for what a horrible group did to another community. That is what this resolution is asking and saying. And that's what we're asking for this council to support. For peace, for no abuse, and for the sake of the people that are innocent. That's the only thing that we've been asking. Now we'll open to the councilors. Any councilors?
Yeah.
Councilor Riley?
So I've emailed some of you over the last week about my specific concerns with this resolution. And in that letter that I wrote to you, I made it very clear exactly what you have just said, President Gomez. I am a peace-loving person. I believe in justice. I believe in fairness. I stand against all forms of violence. I've lived this my entire life. There is also a recognition that no one person that sits on this council has an actual understanding of the full complexity and the geopolitical dynamics that are at play in the Middle East, and to also state that by putting forward a resolution, we don't actually impact the lives of people in Palestine or Israel. I recognize that's a difficult thing for me to say because my gut instinct is, of course, we do this, but I do not want to make resolutions that weigh into geopolitical areas that we do not have the understanding of. I think that's really important. It's my request that this be sent to committee, and in that space, we can talk about what it means to be a cosmopolitan citizen. That is to recognize that everywhere on earth is completely different than the beliefs and viewpoints that we have as citizens. But we can also make statements that say broadly, we denounce violence in any form, that we denounce warfare in any form. We denounce ethnic cleansing and genocide in any form. I think we can say what our characteristic traits are as a community in a resolution that can be broadly applied to the rest of the world. And I say that because Israel and Palestine is not the only place on earth where genocide and ethnic cleansing and wars and hostages and the killing of innocent people occurs. So I think the question then becomes, do we become a moral police where we have to make statements on every situation that's happening around the world? Because I think if we make exceptions for individual communities and not others, then that leaves open for interpretation that we may not support the peace and justice efforts that are happening elsewhere around the world. So I agree wholeheartedly with the body of this resolution. I just think if we're going to do this, we should look at the holistic view of this really ugly part of humanity that has existed with us for hundreds of thousands of years and will actually exist long past any resolution that we put forward. So it's with no disrespect to you, Council President Gomez or Councilor Denham. I just think we should be very mindful about the wording that we're using and what the intent of the resolution is as it applies more broadly to humanity. That would be my only recommendation. Thank you.
Councilor Sarrett?
I agree with Councilor Riley. I'm happy to send it to committee. I'm happy to vote tonight. I will abstain if we do. Not that I don't believe in the prospect of peace, but I do agree for a multitude of reasons that I think there's issues I have with the wording. And I could probably sit here and speak for hours about this conflict and how I feel about it and the efforts that have been made thus far to affect exactly what's being called for in this resolution, as well as the historic behavior of the council around issues like this. So I think that there's a pathway to language that I would certainly be happy to support, but I'd like the opportunity to discuss that in committee.
I'm going to pass it to other councilors, but I'm concerned about Councilor Sari just said, especially about the historic behavior of this council. I'm confused with that because this council is open to have tough conversation. This council is open to support causes. This council is always open to discuss this with the people they're related to. So it's kind of concerning that you are in a way attacking the council, saying the historic behavior of what? Because
Point of clarification, Mr. President. I mean, there have been other conflicts. There have been other conflicts in the world that we have failed to make any comment about. There's been a conflict in Ukraine for multiple years.
and council have the opportunity to make resolutions.
I understand that. I am saying that historically we haven't.
Councilor Denham.
The mayor did put out a resolution in regards to the Ukrainian conflict. I think that, if this wants to go to committee, then we can certainly send that to committee. I do want to point out in response to Councilor Riley's comments, this was brought forth because Jewish residents within Easthampton requested us to bring this forward. The language of this resolution was vetted by members of the Jewish community, right? And those members do have a direct connection to this particular conflict. As I've mentioned before, I have Jewish family members. I have friends, colleagues who are Palestinians, and that has a direct impact on me. No, I have not lost my life. I have not directly lost people who live in those communities, right? But I do see the toll that it is taking. And as elected representatives, right, this is what we do, right? We have requests brought to us that we respond to. And I think we are doing our due diligence to respond to the requests of our community members, right? These are, we write resolutions in regards to gun violence. We've written gun violence or resolutions in response to racism. We've written resolutions in response to anti-Semitism. There's all sorts of hate that we have responded to. And just because it is a geopolitical issue doesn't mean that it doesn't impact directly the residents within our community. And this was brought forward at their request. And that is our responsibility. It is our responsibility to say something when we see something. And so this wasn't brought out of thin air, right? This was at the request of our residents. This is a global, this is a resolution that is addressing both organized and state violence that is having a direct impact on our residents. Both in terms of their families, their friends in that particular region, as well as how they are treated in the community. As I mentioned, anti-Semitism, hate crimes are they're at a rise of over 380% since the start of this. Again, Palestinians, Muslims, Islamophobia, an increase of over 250% since the start of this resolution, or since the start of this conflict, this war. And we are taking a stand against that.
Thank you, Councilor Denham. Councilor Kwasinski.
Mr. President, I had raised my hand certainly because I have comments on the subject, but since there has been an objection on the floor by one member, all it takes is one member's objection to refer this to committee, and I recommend that this council do so it can be fully discussed.
I agree. Councilor Peak first, and then Councilor Derby. Councilor Peak, I do agree.
Thank you, Mr. President. I agree with Councilor Kwasinski that since a member did object, we should send it to committee. And for the record, I think nobody ever owes anybody else a reason for objecting. I would just also say that, if we're going to make the measuring stick of what we introduce resolutions about, whether we as council members have some sort of qualification to weigh in on the subject or believe that our weighing in on the subject would change the matters, then there's been a lot of cases over the last few years, a lot of them, that I would say I would have voiced that same objective or that same objection. So if that's the, if you want to say like Councilor Zaret did, that there's some specific language that you're not comfortable with voting for on, voting on this one, that's fine. If you just don't support this, then that's fine. But if we're going to create a new rule stick that resolutions have to be about things we're qualified to speak about and that are impactful, for the record, I love that idea. You know how I feel about resolutions. You all know how I feel about the amount of time we spend on this stuff, but I don't feel 100% comfortable with this being the place where we suddenly decide to do that. So it's going to go to rules, and we're going to have to discuss it in committee, and that's fine. But if that's the measuring stick that we are going to go by, that things have to be impactful and they have to be things that we actually are qualified to speak on, then we should probably codify that somewhere in the rules, because I would be pretty disappointed if this one, which is obviously dicey and difficult, we applied that to, and then in a couple months we were voting. I mean, Jesus, we voted a few years ago on a nuclear armaments resolution. Like, we don't know anything about that. So I just want to make sure that whatever standard we have, we apply it just consistently. And if that means that there's certain things that we decide the council's not doing resolutions on these things, then we can have that conversation. But I don't want our standard for judging this to be shifting from topic to topic, and that's, I guess, what I have to say. That said, I'm very much in favor of just moving this along to rules, since there's really not, I think, a whole lot left for us to discuss.
Thank you, Councilor Peak. Before we keep going to councilors, I think we should stop the conversation, because at this point, you two councilors prefer to send it to a committee. So that's why we need just to send it to a committee and we can discuss it there. So that's, I prefer to do that. So, Councilors, Derby?
So would you like me to move it, or do you want me to say my comment that I had to say?
You can do both.
Okay.
You can do your comment and then send it to a
Okay.
committee.
And that's what I'll do. I actually agree with Councilor Riley on this. And I think one of the points that I agree on most is that we, I think, need to find a balance of, looking at the idea of seeing something and saying something, which I firmly believe in, but also making sure that we don't bog ourselves down in issues that are not necessarily going to have a significant impact when we have a job to make a significant impact on our local community. And I don't want us to get ourselves mired in discussions and time, and this is just, like, in general, things that are going to cause us to invest significant amounts of time in that could potentially distract from us spending significant amounts of time making our community better and solving the problems of our constituents. So I just wanted to say that, because that was one of the things Councilor Riley said, and I think that makes sense. I also think that, as we look at resolutions as they come to us, historically, I know that people had some issues around the gun violence language, and we sent it to committee. And the anti-Semitism thing, it went to committee, and people were able to give their input on language. So I think that set a precedent that we should, obviously, and this is what we're going to do, but I just wanted to, make sure that, that was a precedent that we set that we should continue to follow. So, I have no problems sending this to committee, and I also am a firm believer in peace, and I'm hoping a ceasefire does happen. So I will move this to the Rules and Government Relations Committee
As a motion.
as a motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to move this resolution to the Rules Committee. Any further discussion? Councilor Sarek.
I just want to say, I appreciate you bringing this forward. I'm also a member of the Jewish community. And that's not to say that I don't speak for the entire community, right?
Remember, the motion is just to send it to a committee.
Right. So I guess what I'll say in terms of the motion to send to the committee is what I'd like to do is be able to offer the two authors resources, both as a member of the community as well as a sitting member of the Jewish Federation. I'd like to put you in touch with some of them. I think that we'll all offer some resource and some feedback on this as well as local synagogues. So that's all.
Anyone else? Marianne?
Omar Gomez.
Aye.
JP Kwasinski.
Aye.
Tom Peak.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Motion passes. Councilor Derby.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we have some
Mr. President, no mayor.
Freudian slip? I don't know. Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. We have some mayoral appointments. That's why I said mayor, 'cause I'm looking at mayoral. And these all. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna do them in group by expiration date. Is that all right?
Yes, but
Okay.
can you do this group first and this
then this
individual
one's
alone?
second. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, I'm aware. So we have Lindsay Rothschild to Affordable and Fair Housing Committee with a term 12/31/2024. Bruce Homestead to Commission on Disability, 12/31/2024. Marie Ferrero, Council on Aging, 12/31/2024. And then we also have Catherine Carey, Council on Aging, 12/31/2025. Desiree Grebe, Parks and Rec Commission, 12/31/2026. And Jashiva Patel, Parks and Rec Commission, 12/31/2026. I move that we send those to the appointment subcommittee.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to send these 6 mayoral appointment to the Appointments Committee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
JP Kwasinski. Tom Peak.
Aye.
Aye.
Brad Riley.
Aye.
Tamara Smith.
Aye.
JT Terrell.
Aye.
Owen Zaret.
Aye.
Connie Denham.
Aye.
Salem Derby.
Aye.
Omar Gomez.
Aye. Motion passes. Councilor Derby.
And so we have a city council president appointment, and this is a request for immediate action to appoint Brian Moody to the license. Yeah?
Yeah, but send it to,
You want me to send it to
yeah,
committee? Okay.
send it to committee.
Okay. It's under here.
Sorry, no,
Yeah.
but send it to a committee.
Okay, so I move to send Brian Moody for the position of licensing board with a term expiration of June 5th, 2024 to the appointment committee.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to send one appointment to the Appointments Committee from the Council President. Any further discussion? Councilor Riley.
Yes, so for the council to understand and for the public to understand, when it comes to Mr. Moody's appointment, I will be fully abstaining from any matters related to his appointment. That is my husband. So, this is standard practice in Easthampton. We have lots of family members that get involved. We've done this in the past. So going forward at the next city council meeting, I'm going to be, this is by instruction of the Attorney General's office. I reached out to the ethics review situation. So at our next meeting on the 20th, I will open the meeting, deal with some of the appointees, and then when it comes to Mr. Moody's appointment, I will give chair authority over to Councilor Smith, and then I will leave the room while the question and answering session happens, while the vote happens. And then also, no matter what the recommendation of the appointment committee is, I will do the same thing at the city council meeting. So I'll just kind of go the opposite direction. So when his appointment comes up, I will go into this room. You all can have the discussion, take the vote, whatever you need to do. So the last point that I'll make about this, it is only when there is a financial interest at stake. Licensing board members, according to the rules, have a stipend that is equal to city councilors. So I cannot make a vote on anything that he does because he would benefit from it financially. Therefore, I would also benefit from it financially. So, yeah, and then I think also, Councilor Gomez, you will be appointing an alternate member to the appointment committee. Further clarification, the mayor has also had to abstain from the appointment process as it relates to the licensing board. She has a sibling who owns an alcohol license within Easthampton, so you are prohibited from weighing in on these things. Councilor Gomez, therefore, is the appointing authority, so he will also abstain from the vote. So it will be Councilor Smith and then an alternate who will engage in that process. So just wanted to put
Thank
that
you.
out there.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Marianne?
Tom Peak. Tom?
Aye.
Brad Riley?
Abstain.
Tamara Smith?
Aye.
JT Terrell?
Aye.
Owen Zaret?
Aye.
Connie Denham?
Aye.
Salem Derby?
Aye.
Omar Gomez?
Aye.
JP Kwasinski?
Aye.
Motion passes with one abstention. Councilor Derby?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have a CPA supplemental appropriation, and this is in the form of a motion in the first reading. Supplemental appropriation request, Community Preservation Act, fiscal year 2024, Thursday, January 25th, 2024. Request is hereby made for approval of the following appropriation. Amount requested, $100,000 to be appropriated from 024.0024.3243 CPA Reserve for Affordable Housing, $100,000 to be appropriated to 024.2980.5400.2467 Town Lodging House, $100,000. The amounts requested will be used for the following purpose: to provide funding for the pre-development activities to rehabilitate, support, and create affordable housing at the Town Lodging House. Request we move this to Finance Committee.
Second.
We should schedule a public hearing too.
Oh, for our next meeting?
Yes.
And part of that motion, I'd like to schedule a public hearing for that item for February 21st at 6:15 in these chambers.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to move the CPA supplemental appropriation of $100,000 and schedule a public hearing at our next meeting here at 6:15 at this chamber. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Connie Denham?
Aye.
Salem Derby?
Aye.
Omar Gomez?
Aye.
JP Kwasinski?
Aye.
Tom Peak?
Aye.
Brad Riley?
Aye.
Tamara Smith?
Aye.
JT Terrell?
Aye.
Owen Zaret?
Aye.
Motion passes. Councilor Derby?
Thank you, Mr. President. Our final piece of new business, because we did the easement already, right?
Yes, can you do both at the same time?
Yep. So we have amendments to traffic rules and orders, Appendix A, Section 1-25, parking prohibited on certain streets during certain hours, and changes to amounts charged for parking violations, and I move that that be sent to Public Safety.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to move these two items to the Public Safety Committee. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Marianne?
Salem Derby?
Aye.
Omar Gomez?
Aye.
JP Kwasinski?
Aye.
Tom Peak?
Aye.
Brad Riley?
Aye.
Tamara Smith?
Aye.
JT Terrell?
Aye.
Owen Zaret?
Aye.
Connie Denham?
Aye.
Motion passes. Look like we did everything that we have on our agenda today. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Move to close, adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. Marianne?
Omar Gomez?
Aye.
JP Kwasinski?
Aye.
Tom Peak?
Aye.
Brad Riley?
Aye.
Tamara Smith?
Aye.
JT Terrell?
Aye.
Owen Zaret?
Aye.
Connie Denham?
Aye.
Salem Derby?
Aye.
Motion passes. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This government meeting is brought to you by Eastworks and our local cable subscribers.